Well, all right, 340. Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. It's digital host A.J. Wuest here, welcoming you back to Before the Four. Of course, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. I say it every day, wherever you're watching Before the Four right now, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your Wednesday afternoon here. Now first, let's talk about the weather. A first alert weather day has been declared for this upcoming Friday along with Monday of next week due to the cold with potential for some severe weather in the mix. Let's turn over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis with the latest. Brad?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Showing you dew points behind me. These are forecast dew points. That's the measure of the basically fictitious amount of water in the air. The higher this number is, the higher the threat for stronger thunderstorms. We're starting to see dew points that may hit the mid-60s as we go through Friday. And this is because of the delay of arrival of showers and storms. First alert weather day here for this. For some stronger thunderstorms, looks like the worst of the weather starts moving in after 6 o'clock Friday night. We'll be breaking down this a little bit more over the coming days as we get closer. High resolution model guidance coming in, and I always stress we wait till that comes in before we start talking about a threat of severe weather. Again, it's a low threat right now, something we'll watch. First alert weather day Monday. That's because of cold air, much colder air coming in, and it all starts moving in Sunday down to 30 Monday morning. Some snow flurries. Right now, we don't expect any travel issues, but something we're going to watch, what we call the polar vortex, is kind of rotating through the Great Lakes and dropping in. That's why it's going to get so cold. Veterans Day, Tuesday morning, 26 degrees. It's going to be brutal. 51 for the high Tuesday, though, so it does get better. It will be windy Sunday and Monday as well. And then we get back up into the 70s by next weekend. So plenty to talk about. What a beautiful day today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Same thing tomorrow. A little bit more of a breeze. Friday morning, we start off mostly clear now, and the clouds start to filter in as we go through the afternoon. No rain through probably 2 o'clock now. Again, this is the high resolution guidance. It's going to show more detail, and then storms probably won't arrive until we get to the evening hours. So again, kids getting out of school, things like that Friday afternoon, getting off work, should be okay if this trend continues. I'll have much more coming up.
Well, Brad, I am definitely not a fan of that cold that you have in the forecast. Better enjoy it this week with the sunlight, the heat, because it's not looking too good for later on this week as well as next week. It's going to get cold, y'all. So also make sure you stay tuned to 48 First Alert Weather Extra. I say it every day. That is live streamed right here at 9:30 wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. But First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis, he'll be back here in the streaming center and he'll have all the latest he's seeing on the radar. Feel free to leave a comment. Brad loves shouting you all out. Any thoughts? Questions, concerns you might have, feel free to just shout them out, and Brad Travis will work on finding that answer for you. But you're just not going to want to miss it. First Alert Weather Extra. But now, it is now the longest federal government shutdown in history. And with SNAP benefits being suspended for the month of November, Governor Kay Ivey has directed $2 million to go towards SNAP relief here in Alabama. Nick Ballinger with more.
2025's government shutdown has just made history, tying the 2018 shutdown as the longest at 35 days.
And forcing parents to choose between rent and groceries. This isn't just a policy failure, it is a moral collapse.
With the Trump administration only partially funding SNAP food benefits, nearly 750,000 Alabamians who rely on the program are becoming restless.
You know, when my money runs out on my disability, where am I going to go to?
What we're doing here is, as we always have done, we're taking care of our own, whether that's through the different food banks or different churches.
Governor Ivey's office announced Tuesday that $2 million of the state's emergency fund will be passed down to 8 state food banks. One of those lucky recipients, the North Alabama Food Bank.
So we're really very appreciative of the state stepping up and helping us with this. It's going to mean that we can continue to do the work that the community needs us to do.
The food bank CEO Shirley Schofield says the past month has been busy. very busy.
It's not sustainable for us to do this for months upon months.
Schofield says the food bank is receiving around $910,000. That will go a long way in sending truckloads of food across North Alabama, costing nearly $50,000 each.
But food is expensive, and especially when you need to get food that's already packaged in boxes for emergency situations.
And she's seeing food bank first-timers join the line for help.
There is no stigma to this. They should not feel bad about this. No one should feel bad about asking their neighbors for help.
Now moving out to Scottsboro, where its driver license office is officially moving to a new location right after the holidays. State troopers say the location will be more convenient for everyone in Jackson County. 48's Will Eldridge with the details of the new office.
This move is all about making things easier for folks here in Jackson County. Come January 5th, this building here behind me will be the new home for the Scottsboro Driver's License Office and a few others. Construction has been underway here for about a year with the goal of bringing not just the license office here, but the county probate office and the county's revenue office, all under this one roof. Officials with Aaliyah's driver's license division says this new space will be a one-stop shop for residents to handle their business more efficiently. Compared to the old office tucked away in the Jackson County Courthouse basement, the new space will be much bigger. The current license office will close its doors for good on December 23rd, and the new location will open its doors for business on Monday, January 5th. Reporting in Scottsboro, Will Eldridge, 48 on your side.
And with that, we're going to head to break, but coming up, a proposed veteran cemetery to be constructed here in Madison County. Liz Hurley gives us the details on that and highlighting a veteran with the legacy that lives on. It's all ahead. We'll go through it all in 1 minute. All right, the break is over. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Before the Four. Now take a look at this. From cotton fields to hallowed ground, a North Alabama veteran cemetery is on the horizon. 48's Liz Hurley spoke with several members of the Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs and has more. Let's take a look.
Cotton stalks stand here now with their bowls waving in the wind on this beautiful, picturesque 150-acre stretch of farmland in northeast Madison County. Next year, an American flag might stand in their place, and eventually rows and rows of white headstones. Limestone, Morgan, and Madison County veterans are underserved for burial benefits per the federal government. There is no state, even national veteran cemetery close to home.
What the National Cemetery Administration tries to do is keep a national or state cemetery within 75 miles of every veteran in the state of Alabama, or any state for that matter. And there's a void in that area.
So Commissioner Newton is accelerating a deal to establish a second state veteran cemetery here in North Alabama, 6 hours closer than the first and only Alabama Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Spanish Fort.
We just set contracts in place to do an independent appraisal and to do the environmental assessment and to do the survey. So once we get the green light there, we're prepared to move ahead with the purchase of the property.
What makes this land so special?
Its location Well, we wanted to have something in North Alabama that was going to be pristine. It's not going to be overpopulated with residential areas or other developments.
Larry Van Noy is the chairman of the Cemetery Commission for Alabama Veterans Affairs.
It's beautiful. It's very hard to find a large tract of land that looks like this.
Van Noy says this 150-acre parcel is a half mile by a half mile, 3 times larger than the Veterans Cemetery in Spanish Fort, and capable of holding 150,000 burial sites eventually, but starting out with 7,000. It will be considered a 200-year cemetery as well. The plots are open to honorably discharged veterans, their spouse, and dependents free of charge, including those in the National Guard. A columbarium to entomb cremated remains will also be built, along with a scattering garden and much more.
If everything goes well, we purchase the property. The next step is to get an architect and engineer firm hired to do some design work. And then hopefully I'm hoping by the end of the summer of 2026 or fall, this time next year, we should be turning dirt. That's our goal.
And on that timeline, the first funeral here could be 2.5 years away.
Was Liz Hurley reporting right there. And as we continue to near Veterans Day, we want to honor those that served our country. Major Stan Minkenau has a legacy that lives on after his service to our country. Claudia Peppenhorst highlights his late veteran's life that is told through the eyes of his daughter. Let's take a look.
Major Stanley Minkenau loved all things adventure. If there's one thing you should know about him, he never turned down a challenge.
He was excited by flying, by jumping out of airplanes, by starting a business.
A 27-year Army veteran, Stan had plenty of stories to tell, but
I think that's probably the most significant aspect of his service was his story and the start and how he came into the service.
Originally born in Poland, Stan experienced the horrors of the Holocaust. At just 10 years old, his family was forced into a Jewish ghetto. They later escaped, and Stan lived his life as a displaced person in Germany. His daughter, Kim Minkenau, says soon after, his American dream finally started to take flight.
He was 19 years old and working in a weaver's factory and saw a flyer that said, "Join the Army and become a U.S. citizen."
Under the Lodge Act, Stan applied and enlisted in the U.S. Army, a prime candidate, as he could speak 5 languages: German, Polish, Russian, Czech, and English.
I think that was kind of the story of his whole life. He would tackle new things.
He first came to the U.S. on a ship destined for NYC. From there, he went on to be a part of the Special Forces. After 5 years of service, he was eligible to apply for citizenship and eventually met the love of his life, Doris.
After being an enlisted soldier, he had actually met my mother and married her out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, went back to Germany with her.
But Stan wasn't done just yet.
He decided he wanted to do more, so he applied to become an officer and go to officer candidate school in Fort Benning, Georgia.
And after serving as an infantry officer,
he decided he might want to fly airplanes.
He applied for flight school, which brought him to Fort Rucker, Alabama. He went on to serve a tour, then went to Vietnam in 1967 and again in 1970, both times as an aviator.
Those were trying times for the family because I was, for example, a high schooler and middle schooler, and in those days you would hear of someone's father passing away, being killed, so that was a trying time for the family, and I know it was a trying time for him as well.
After the war, Kim says he finished out with a standard career and ended up retiring right here in Huntsville at Redstone Arsenal.
And that's when he decided to pursue one of his hobbies that had been coin collecting through the years as a possible business.
So he opened Alexander's Jewelry and Coin Investors. Later on, he lost a manager and asked his daughter Kim if she would come work with him.
We were known as the father and I was the daughter. I didn't even give my name. I just said, I'm the daughter.
But in true Stan fashion, he wasn't done just yet.
And towards the end, he was recognized by the Alabama Holocaust Survivor Museum out of Birmingham. So he was asked by a local teacher to speak, and he spoke to Bob Jones high school students.
Just something that needs to be told to the young people so they don't forget. People have a tendency of forgetting history.
Stan ultimately passed away in 2020. His incredible story is recognized by the National Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. However, his proudest accomplishment was his 3 children, all of which went on to serve just like their dad.
He was very proud of all of us, and that all 3 of his children went into service.
Now, 5 years after his passing, Kim is proud to share her father's story as he joins the Hall of Heroes.
It's amazing. He was amazing.
And absolutely, what an incredible legacy he left behind. And man, what did he not do? It seems like he just tackled everything that was right in front of him. Such an inspiring story there from 48's Claudia Peppenhorst. But now let's talk about the stories that you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. The latest on the deadly plane crash just outside of the Louisville airport. We're on your side tonight speaking with experts about ladybug infestations in homes, and finally taking a look at different food drives and even pet food drives here across the Tennessee Valley as we near into the holiday season. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And y'all, we do not have a Facebook question today, so no Facebook fun today, but we'll have Facebook fun, and that will be tomorrow starting right at 3:40 and tomorrow's before the 4. We'll have a Facebook question, I promise, and we'll have Facebook fun for tomorrow. But y'all, that is just about all she wrote for today's Before the 4. But thank you so much for watching, spending a bit of your Wednesday afternoon here. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's evening newscast. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.